You had to understand what this movie was about to really be part of it. And I think most of the people who were in it really did understand the movie. I'm not sure that Hemdale, the people who made it, really understood what we were doing.
I don't think they got it the way we did. People might wonder what that voice is I'm using. In some ways it was my father, because he was a professor of comparative literature, and he made a decision at some point to speak with distinction. And to me it always sounded absurd, although now I understand. It used to be like this very continental sound, which I thought a literary agent would adopt to try to be impressive to people.
And I remember the first day's rushes, the producers ran up to me and they said, "Bob, it looks great, but what's Nick doing? Why is he talking like that? What's wrong with him?" I said, no, this is cool. Actually, I didn't even notice that there was an accent, to be honest with you.
I suppose we should talk about
the famous bat?
How we got into an altercation one day, because it was very important to me that the bat was a real bat, and I didn't want this remote control bat, and I kind of went off my rocker a little bit.
And I remember you'd sent your assistant out to Central Park to find a bat one night.
Yeah, I was pretty nuts about getting a real bat, which of course was going to cause all sorts of problems with the animal rights people.
I think I managed to persuade you by telling you that if you'd got bitten by the bat, you'd die.
You'd get raped. Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, Nick, when we made this film, it was complete chaos from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Also, nobody really understands what this movie's about.
Which is probably good.
It's good because I understand most of what it's about, and I've got interpretations of what I think some of the things are about, but I wonder if I don't know if we ever really discussed it. We didn't.
Well, I'm a big believer in the ambiguous and letting it be about whatever people want it to be about, but I always saw the movie as a story of a man whose loneliness and inability to find love literally drives him insane. I really don't know I don't know where my head was at when I was making this movie. I know that I had just done Moonstruck, which at the time I was not happy with. Now I love the movie. I'm mature enough to understand it now. This is my favorite line.
Yeah, well, fuck you too.
Now, this scene coming up next, I think this is where he goes into a hotel and these people are dancing. I don't know what this is about. I don't know what I was doing. I haven't got a clue.
I love that, though. This expression on my face is just absurd. I was wondering what you must have thought on that day when I did. You were the one that said jump up on the desk.
I think I did. And it's kind of so unexpected, like...
I mean, he's like Spider-Man all of a sudden.
I think what happened was that I had a lot of trouble doing this shot, and I needed some help from you, and you refused to help me on the shot.
What did I do?
Well, you didn't do anything, you see. So it took me about 10 times longer to shoot it, because all I said to you was like, do you mind just stepping a half a pace to the left as you read the note? And you said, I'm not moving. This I have to keep still. Look at this. That's plate glass. It's all real. I mean, actors throwing around real plate glass. This is how naive we were when we made this movie.
But you can't duplicate that. I mean, it
that
shows
was
you.
Real. Even that was real glass. It's very hard to break this glass.
Yeah. No, I was off my rocker.
Do you remember your hotel room?
Yeah.
Do you remember you brought your cat?
Yes. Yeah, my cat Lewis. Yeah.
Which wrecked the whole place.
I guess so. Yeah.
I remember going up there and I thought, Jesus, what is Nick doing here? Because it was completely wrecked, but it was the cat had pulled everything apart.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't allow room service in to clean up.
I know. I was very attached to my cat.
You also had a vampire bat there. Did you remember you had the skeleton of a vampire?
Oh, yeah.
Which was great. I was very impressed with that.
This whole alphabet sequence, I don't know how Mick Jagger figures into this, but...
there is a pose.
There's a pose that's very Jagger-esque. Well, it actually is extremely choreographed. I mean, every one of those moves was thought out in my hotel room with my cat. Here we go. Here comes Jagger.
I never misspelled anything!
Not that. Wait a minute.
Not once, not one time!
Yeah, there we go. This is I don't know. My whole motivation here was to try to see how big I could get my eyes, just to freak her out.
It's just amazing how they work, those eyes. It's just amazing.
Oh man, we made a twisted movie, Robert.
We did. I think we were just young.
Yeah, we were young, and we both just. It's like we just didn't care. You know, we just went ahead and we cared about doing good work, but it was like we just didn't care what people thought. I was originally going to eat raw eggs or something, and I thought, no, we should make it a cockroach because I really want to do something that would shock the audience and something they would never forget. And I saw it as like a business decision because I've seen this movie in the theater. When people see that cockroach go in my mouth, it's like the bus blowing up in speed. I mean, people really react, and it's like worth $2 million in a special effect, and all I do is eat a bug. So it's good business, but you got the shot in the first take, but because of my not moving, right, and the other scene where I'm ripping up the napkin you've just explained, you made me do it again, so I ate 2 bugs, but you used the first take.
There was a payback for the day before.
Yeah, and you got me.
So, what is this, the cure, the sort of vampire cure for a cold?
Yeah, just, what a thoughtful gesture to give her some soup. I don't know where the nausea came from.
The goddamn contract is somewhere in the goddamn fucking file!
See, this stuff was like, he was just, I don't know. I don't know where the cuckoo clock head moves came from. Like that.
Yeah.
What is that? And the cry here, I want to say boo-hoo in a way that worked emotionally. I was always trying to challenge myself, like, can you get away with actually saying boo-hoo?
Yeah, and without it sounding childish.
Yeah. I got a lot of bad criticism for that.
That was the last shot of the day. Now, what happened? Do you remember what happened there?
No, what happened?
Well, you were running too fast, and I couldn't catch up with you. And I said, "Can you run slow?" You said, "Well, if you want me to run slow, I'm going to run like this." And that's what you did. You kind of ran like.
I'm a vampire.
I like it, but you got a lot of stick about it. For what reason?
Well, because people thought it was over the top.
What? And the rest of the film was so subtle.
Right.
I think you'd been either working with or had been talking to Tom Waits.
Yeah, Tom was a friend of mine, still is.
And he has this little pencil moustache.
Oh, yeah.
And on the first day, it was actually the first day of shooting, you arrived on set with a pencil moustache. Do you remember that?
No, but that sounds very, very uncomfortable. What was I doing?
Well, you wanted the character to have a pencil moustache.
Throughout the whole movie?
Throughout the whole movie. And it was one of those mornings where everyone looks at you and they all look at me and everyone is silent and they go, you can see in their heads, they go, oh my God, what's Nick Cage done? I thought, God, I'm going to have to get, and I knew if I was head on, it wouldn't. So I said, well, when you put the teeth in later on, there's going to be a confusion with the moustache and the teeth, and you're going to kind of have trouble there. And you went, thank you for that. That's a very good point. And wiped off the moustache, and that was the end of the moustache. Crawling up. What is that all about?
I don't know. This is where we really went off the deep end here. I don't know.
Do you remember what we did here?
We actually caught a pigeon.
No, I had to drug the pigeon, so you can't catch pigeons. I mean, if you run around, pigeons just fly away. These pigeons are drugged.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, how else do you think you caught it? Did you think, hey, I'm a really great actor, I can catch pigeons?
I don't know what I thought.
No, we had them. They were all humanely drugged, and they lived after and had happy lives after this. Again, you start to think as a viewer, well, are the filmmakers trying to tell me she is a vampire? Isn't she? And they don't know, and we don't know.
Right, and I like that.
It's funny, but there were people in New York doing this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were people. I've watched a lot of mad people, and everything you did was happening on the streets.
Oh, I can tell you this is...
These two are real hobos. Those were 2 real hobos on the street.
Yeah.
I'm a vampire.
These guys, they were real.
No,
they didn't know
they
what was going on.
really.
I shot that on a long lens. They didn't know we were filming. They just...
That's genuinely mad behavior
Yeah.
there. Talk about the tortures of the damned.
This is really out there.
Yeah, there we go, the Jagger move. I don't know what that is. And here we go with the vomit.
Yes.
This is so extreme.
But it's vomit that's not vomit, which is great. It's ectoplasm that's never there.
Yeah.
I remember my agent coming to see me while we were shooting. We were on the streets of New York, and he walked up to me and said, "I don't know how you're doing this." He said, "This is the most chaotic thing I've ever seen in my life. How do you get anything shot?" And I said, "Well, what are you talking about? It's going really well." He said, "This shoot is a nightmare."
I think I cared more about this performance than any other performance in my career to get it right. I don't, that's just where my head was at the time.
Well, it's there, and it's there forever. And
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just sign off. I'm Nick Cage, and thanks for watching and hearing us.